Hello and welcome to The Peculiar People. My mission is to help you to optimize your decisions so that you can enjoy your careers, your relationships, and your leadership. Speaking of optimizing your decisions, there's a very good tool here. It's called How to Design Your Career Game Plan. Now, I've been a career coach and I have read this book. This is a great tool that I'd like you to get your hands on. And the good news is today we're talking to the author Colleta Masharia. She's coming to talk to us about her book. So welcome as I interview Colleta on her book, How to Design Your Career Game Plan. Alright, so we are joined by Colleta once again, and this time we're talking about something that is really exciting. I have read this book personally and it's amazing work, Colleta. Congratulations and thank you for sharing creatively this knowledge through the book.
Thank you, Victor.
Yeah. So let's dive into why did you write this book in the first place?
Well, I wrote the book because I wanted people to have a resource, a tool that they can use in mapping out the journey of, designing a strategy for their career, so that they don't just approach, looking, a career is long term, okay? And you spend a lot of resources, time, money, opportunities in your career. And so I believe it's not one of those things that should be approached unadvisedly. And so I wrote it so that people could have a tool. And then considering the journey that I went through, I didn't have a game plan. Well, I kind of devised a game plan as I went along. So let me retake that. I had a game plan. And my game plan consisted of learning French and becoming a hot cake. Now, that fell flat on its face and I needed something else. And so through trial and error, through just learning on the job, so to speak, I learned a few things that I feel that packaging them as a tool like this is going to be very helpful for people. Yeah.
Okay. What is this game plan? Right, because you have an emphasis on coming up with this game plan. So just talk to us about what this game plan is as you think about the careers.
Okay, so the game plan is basically your strategy. How are you getting yourself to that space where you are doing work that is fulfilling, that is aligned to your strengths, that is aligned to your core values, and that is serving a purpose, meeting a need. All right, and remember we're talking about a career, not a job. Okay, so in that sense, then the game plan helps you to put certain things into considerations. All right, who am I and what do I have? Those are the gifts. That's the G in game plan because it's an acronym. Okay, and then attributes. We've hinted. We've talked a little bit about those. What are they? Those traits, those character strengths that you have, that you must develop, okay, to be in a position to work in any setting, okay. And then M, what's your motivation? Why do you want to do X, Y, Z? Okay, why a career in sales and not in accounting, for example? Okay, and then E, experience. What experience do I have that I can leverage, I can bring, that I can use, right? Put in the table to help me do my best work. And when I use the word experience here in the book Game Plan, I am thinking very broadly to include your education, to include your exposure, all right? And even down to stuff like if you're a firstborn at home, there's a certain experience that gives you, okay? You probably have found yourself, if you're a firstborn, maybe taking care of younger siblings, all right? Maybe being left in charge of of the household when the parents are not there. So these are leaderships, these are responsibilities that are very, very important, that are transferable even into different areas of work. So when I talk about experience, I'm talking about it in a broad sense. So that's, again, gifts, attributes, motivation, and experience. And then we come to plan. What's your playground? Okay? Every game needs a playground. Yeah? So what will yours be? How do you identify the playground for your game? And then L, I mentioned that, what can you leverage? What is it that makes you stand out, that you can say, this is my advantage, all right? And then A is articulating your value proposition. How do I demonstrate that I am the right person for this career or for this piece of work? And then finally, N, nurturing, because I like to say you never really arrive. You have to continually nurture yourself as a whole person, all right? So physically, spiritually, even psychologically, emotionally, socially, there are things that we must keep doing every day to nurture ourselves so that we remain fit to play our A game. So that's game plan for you.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Just thinking about the key things that you need to consider when you're thinking about your career, or when you find yourself in a dilemma, or when you want an exit plan, a retirement plan, for example. What are some of those things that you need to be thinking about that will help you map out and create a strategy that's going to help you get to where you want to get? So it doesn't mean that, I'm not one of those people that will tell you it is guaranteed to get you there. But the thing is, it will go a long way in helping you to think through perspectives. Yeah.
And I like what you said, that helping you to think through perspectives, because I know many people feel lost in their careers. And I think, as you say, this is a great tool to help them. In fact, speaking of getting lost, there's someone here who asked a question, has a question for you, Colleta. And they're asking, what can I consider as I set academic and career goals?
Yeah, that's a good question. What to consider when you're setting academic and career goals? A whole lot of things. It depends. This differs from person to person, all right? So, first of all, what is it that you want to achieve out of your academic studies, right? Why are you studying? So, once you have that set, then you can create a goal out of it. Is it just to pass exams? So, how then do you ensure that you pass your exams? All right, you have to study hard. So you need to consider the time that you put in, the energy and the effort that you put in, okay? And, do you know how to pass exams, right? But then if you're thinking further and saying to yourself, not only do I want to pass exams, I also want to gain the knowledge, all right? And I want that knowledge to be useful. I want to be able to apply it. So then it means you need to move beyond passing exams and just getting insights and getting the information that will help you pass. Because see, if you only want to pass, then you can cram, okay? But if you want to pass, gain knowledge, and apply that knowledge, then that means you'll be looking, in your goal setting, you'll be factoring in opportunities for you to use that knowledge. You'll be factoring in, how do I learn best, all right? What's my learning style, okay? And how do I ensure that I have enough time? So you'll be considering all this. How much time do I have? If you're asking this question when, for example, you are in Form 3 and your exam is coming in a year, then how much time do you really have? And how much material do you have to cover? Okay, what are your strengths? What are your weak areas? And then, so that's as far as passing academic goals are concerned. And when it comes to career goals, again, similar questions. What speaks to you? What problems do you want to solve? What strengths do you have? What needs are out there that are calling to you and that are making you lose sleep, and you're thinking, people should not be suffering like this, for example. What can I do about it? Okay, so you're considering, and where are these opportunities found? Okay, how do I look for them? How do I package myself? What kind of qualifications, what kind of technical knowledge do I need to have, what kind of skills that are not necessarily technical, okay? The critical skills, so-called soft skills, do I need to have to get me there? Yeah, so a lot of considerations. Yeah.
I like what you've said, what needs are around you that you can do something about, and then where are those opportunities? And I think if you approach your career with that perspective, then you look at it from also gaining fulfillment, because if you're sorting out a need, then you become a hotcake. You're raising your value.
Exactly. Yeah, and why this career? Okay, why do I want to work in this area, for example? Yeah. So those would be some of the things I would consider. Of course, the list is not exhaustive. There are so many other things that you need to consider, because there's also, again, the timing aspect. Okay, if I want to be in the medical profession, curing diseases and supporting people's health, how many ways are there to do that? Do I have to be a doctor? Do I need a degree? Do I need, there are so many factors that you need to consider. Yeah.
And let me just say here that I'd encourage you to get this book, because Colleta has really outlined a way in which you can be, those things that she's talking about here, a way in which you can be able to provoke your thinking, so that you now get the right guidance in terms of designing your career plan. So Colleta, you talk about knowing yourself and how you can actually know yourself.
Yeah.
So in an age where people are thinking self-awareness is overrated, what would you say is the importance of self-awareness as you design your career plan?
I would say self-awareness is a very crucial step in designing your career plan, all right, your career game plan. Because if you don't know yourself, then what are you packaging? What are you presenting? Okay, so you need to understand, what do I have? Okay, it's like, let me just give an example of when, the Olympic Games are happening, okay? David Rudisha and, the Paul Tergats before they retired, and Eliud Kipchoge, would you find them in the track or would you find them in the field? Okay, they would be in the right place, because they know what they are bringing, they know what their strengths are, they know what it is they are coming to do there. Okay, so that knowledge is very, very important. They know, I'm gonna run like this, and when I get to a certain point, I'm gonna probably start to get tired, so I need to do X, Y, Z. So knowing yourself is really, really important, so that you can understand not only your strengths, but also your weak areas, okay, so that you can know where to improve. Yeah.
Very good. And speaking of self-awareness, I like how you distinguish the difference between attributes and gifts. All right, so just give us a clue. I mean, if people want to get more on this, they can always get the book, but just give us a clue. What's the difference between attributes and gifts?
Well, a clue, okay? The best example that comes to my mind right now is the Bible, okay? Now, the grace of God is a gift, isn't it? We don't earn it. We don't work for it, okay? We are saved by that grace, okay? However, we are also told to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. So, nobody is going to give you patience or endurance, okay? You're going to have to work, you're going to have to learn to endure, okay? So, endurance is an attribute. Patience is an attribute. Grace is a gift, okay? Say for example, you are now looking at it just from the career perspective, okay? If you're in the industry of, say, creative, you're a musician, right? And you're gifted in that you can carry a tune, you have the potential to play instruments, okay? So those are things that have come in you. You find yourself gravitating towards them, okay? That musical ear. And normally you can tell this from a very young age, even of a child, right? You can see where their interests are, and you can see the kind of things that are really making them light up. And as they grow, as they get to learn more. You see them doing those things. However, if that child with that musical inclination is not supported to learn how to play an instrument, okay? Or even if they learn to play that instrument and then they do not spend time practicing so that they can become better, that gift that they have, all right, that musical orientation that they have may never really reach its full potential because they have not added on the attributes of discipline, the attribute of hard work, okay, the attribute of, just patience to learn, right? So I hope that's bringing out the difference between a gift and an attribute.
Yes,
yeah.
I think you put it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. So our universities and colleges are churning out graduates each year. Yet employers say that they struggle to find good talent. So what's your take on this?
My take is that yes, a lot of people are graduating from universities, and yes, there is employers are complaining that shortage of talent is the number one headache. And the thing is, I think there is a mismatch between the skills that the market is asking for and the skills that are being taught. Some of these institutions have not really updated themselves or kept with the times and updated their curricula so that they are able to teach what is really, really in demand. And let's not blame the institution so much, because some of it also has to do with maybe our own initiative to learn, because not everything can be taught in school, right? And some of these things that are really, really playing a key role are, again, the attributes that we are talking about. I might be a very good technician, maybe in, I don't know what it is, it could be mechanics or fixing a vehicle, or I could be a very good scientist, okay? But then if I can't work with people, if I can't collaborate, if I cannot communicate, how is that knowledge of mine going to benefit other people? How are we going to come up with research that's beneficial and useful? If I am a very good doctor and I don't know how to adapt to situations, I do not have the courage perhaps to face harsh conditions, how am I going to help people if I'm sent to a place that, I don't know, has a pandemic or has a disease outbreak? How am I going to survive there if I am not a resilient person? So you see, we need a combination of all these things, the technical knowledge and the attributes. Now, maybe schools are focusing a lot on teaching the technical knowledge and not focusing on the attributes. So then we have to ask ourselves, do we have to wait until the schools can teach them? Or can we take initiative and learn these things? Because the truth is, a lot of people are getting out of college and being out of work. But then there are also a lot of people who are getting out of there and getting jobs even while, they haven't gotten their results or they haven't finished. So it's a dicey situation. Yeah.
Let me allow you to invite anyone who's listening, watching this, to reflect. What are some reflection questions that you've asked them as they think about this concept of coming up with a game plan?
Okay. So in terms of reflection, that's interesting. So let me take an example. Have you ever been asked by anyone, who do you think you are? Or who are you? I think most of us have had that experience. And normally that question will come maybe when you have done something wrong, or maybe when you're trying to state a position, or somebody thinks that you are trying to assume maybe some position of authority or to be someone, okay? But I would like to invite you to reflect on that question in a very genuine and authentic way. Who do you think you are? Because that's, I think, and this speaks to self-awareness, all right? And that's where it begins. Because when you know who you are, you're able to now determine where you are going or where you are supposed to be going. And if you find that you are headed there, you encourage yourself, all right, to reach your destination. And if you find you're not headed there, you can course correct. Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah.
Well put, Colleta.
Yeah.
So finally, where can we get the book?
This book is available now at Textbook Center, right? It's also available at Raffle Books. That's an online store. And you can also find it at Nuria Kenya. So if you just go online and look for Raffle Books, Nuria Kenya, even Textbook Center, you can buy online, I guess, or you can walk to any of their branches and buy yourself a copy. You can also get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all those places.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Colleta, for talking to us today about the how to create your career game plan.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for having me and for giving me the opportunity to just talk about this book. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.